coaches, welcome to another tactical breakdown. This week we're taking a look at Antonio Conte's pressing system. No doubt in world football over the last 10 years, it's been one of the most effective. We've seen it through Italy, we've seen it through Inter Milan, Chelsea, and now recently at Tottenham. We're going to take a look at his 3-4-3 system, what makes it special, what makes it so hard to beat, what lessons can we take from it. As always, if you enjoy the video, please give it a like and a subscribe below. And a big thanks to our friends at Keyframe for teaming up with us on these videos. If you're a coach and you're looking for some software ideas for presentations and feedback for players, definitely check out Keyframe. We've got a little bit about them at the halfway point of this. So a huge thanks to them. But first, let's go straight into Antonio Conte's 3-4-3 press. Alright, so first off, there's a number of different ways that you can press in a 3-4-3, and I think Antonio Conte's is a little bit different to most traditional ideas, and we're going to see why in just 1 minute. Here's how his Tottenham team set up. So you've got the goalkeeper and the back three, then you've got your two wing backs, your two central midfielders, and your front three. Again, a traditional setup. And it's the movement of these front three and the structure of these front three that to me make it very, very interesting and unique. In most pressing systems, particularly in a 3-4-3, the number 9 is the focal point of the press to trigger it or to go. Well, in this case, Harry Kane, who's the number 9, drops off onto the opposing holding midfielder, and the two wide forwards, in this example, Richarlison and Son, step in between the space between fullback and centre back, invite the ball to the centre back, and then start the press from here, working from out to in. Let's take a look at what that looks like and why it's so effective. So we can see here that when this press is triggered, and what it looks like is the angle of the approach from the two wide forwards, Son and Richarlison here, takes out the pass to the fullbacks and almost pins the centre back into playing into pressure in towards Harry Kane's player or going back to the goalkeeper. And if it goes back to the goalkeeper is now looking at an aggressive press coming right on top of them. And if they opt to go long, the wing backs on each side can cover that space because the ball's going to take 3 or 4 seconds to travel, and they can then adapt, change their position and press from them. Then when they win possession in these types of situations, you have 3 central players, all world-class attacking players who can create on the transition or combine, or even, as we've seen in recent weeks from Son, score by themselves. Every single pressing system can be exposed in one way or another. Of course, this 3-4-3 has some areas that opponents have tried to exploit. Let's take a look at 3 specific ways that opponents have tried, but Tottenham have adapted and Conte's system has adapted to control the situation or even keep the press alive and keep teams pinned back in their own half. Very, very interesting how they do that. The first way is how most coaches would look at it. When you see Harry Kane's role, what if you drop a second 6 in there? And we take a look at that there. And if that happens and you drop another holding midfielder in there around Harry Kane, initially Kane will split them and take care of both. So it's a 1v2. It's quite natural for the opposition to solve this at that level. But when they do, one of the midfielders will jump out, almost like a press and trap, and apply aggressive pressure when the ball is moving. And if they can't get there, one of the Reds forwards might drop into a pocket. One of the defenders will then drop out and quickly look to prevent that player from turning. At the same time, and this is what Tottenham do really, really well, they recover as a unit and they minimize the spaces in between lines. So when all that's happening, it's happening within 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. Again, it's a window of opportunity for the opponents, but Tottenham are always looking to win the ball aggressively, and you've still got the threat in the transition. Hello coaches, we take a quick break here. Massive thanks to our friends at Keyframe for their support on these videos. Video is a great coaching tool, but it's the telestration that has proven to take video to that next level. It improves understanding, aids retention, and the software can save time when you're coaching the player using videos. However, it's normally quite expensive and hard to produce, but Keyframe solves these problems. Keyframe's simple to use, fast to learn, works with any video provider, and is affordable. Here's a quick look at what they do. Check them out on the link below. Another potential solve that opponents will try is to go with a back three and see what that does to unbalance the Spurs press. Now, if that happens, Tottenham will then match all three forwards 1v1 with a traditional 3-4-3 pressing system that we've probably seen over the past 20 odd years of learning different systems. This usually means that with 1v1 coverage, opponents really won't look to do much here in terms of the risk, so they'll probably look for longer passes. That means that the Tottenham defenders will have to win a lot of aerial duels in these situations, and the central midfielders will likely have to cover ground to pick up those second balls and maybe occupy pockets. Again, it's something that Tottenham deal with really, really well. The last way that the Tottenham press can adapt is if maybe the press is broken, or in the general flow of the game they might need to manage certain moments or even conserve energy because it is really, really intense. So in this situation, they can drop into a block. Wingbacks can rotate low on the weak side and it goes into a back five. The wide forwards then drop in alongside the central midfielders, and then the one forward, Harry Kane, then does the opposite of what he was doing before and stays high. So it evolves into a 5-4-1 structure. Again, limited space in between the lines and that constant threat in transition that makes it very, very difficult for opponents to play through and gives Tottenham that opportunity. If they do win the ball, they can create on the counter. So there you have it. That's a general outline of Conte's 3-4-3 system. That's what makes it special in my eyes, the aggressive press, but also the ability to adapt and deal with different situations that at the top level, with scouting, with the quality of coaching and the quality of players, there's always going to be little things that opponents are going to try to do to unbalance that press. Conte and Tottenham's ability to adapt to it. Even yesterday, this weekend, we saw them play with a 3-5-2 system. Maybe that's because they were more worried about that central space around Harry Kane. I need to take a look at that there. Definitely that might be a follow-up to this one. If you want to take a look at what De Zerbi did and Brighton did against Tottenham to adapt and to maybe ask a few questions, put it in the comments below and I'll definitely take a look. And the last thing I think is very, very important when you're looking at pressing systems and looking at the Conte system is the central transitions and the ability to win the ball within the width of the 18 and create those chances with the quality of Son, with the quality of Kane, with the quality of Richarlison in the final third to combine, or even by going alone, creates a lot of problems for teams that are trying to build out of that there. Knowing that Tottenham are so dangerous in the transition makes it so difficult whenever you've got that layer of pressure and it's so intense as well. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, please give it a like, give it a subscribe, help support the work, and also please check out Keyframe. If you're looking for more pressing ideas and you're looking for more session ideas, please check out the website, modernsoccercoach.com/shop. There's plenty of resources in there for more reading. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week.